Good evening to all of you, and welcome to what is round 5. It is the halfway point in each division in SSRL. It's round 5, which was supposed to be a 100% reverse grid order, but unfortunately we have decided that that's probably not such a good idea, and the evening will take a little bit of time. Unfortunately, for people in chat, sound redeems do not work during commentaries, so your points will be refunded. Please do remind me at a later point. But anyway, moving on to more important matters. We have a real turning point in the championship to happen tonight. We are at the halfway stage, and at the moment it is round 5 out of 10. So, going through your calendar, let's see what we've knocked out so far. We have knocked out round 1 in Austria, round 2 in Silverstone, round 3 in Lusail, round 4 in Jeddah, but tonight it is the legendary Spa-Francorchamps. In your driver's standings, it is Robastian, after Andy's very disappointing showing in Jeddah, finds himself with a 22-point cushion to the current world champion in second. Third, Andrew, nowhere to be seen at all, also had a very disappointing week last week. But Ryan Brooks, recently promoted to Tier 1, and Barish rounding out your top 5. From 6th to 10th, it is Quincy, Race Chase, Mr. Wouter, Control and Kovachka, and Quincy and Barish on the same amount of points there, so one to watch out for as the evening comes to a close. Then it is Sveta, Kashka, Energetic, Mr. Siri, and Fellow Sun rounding out 11th to 15th, and then from 16th to 20th, it is Gino, Quan, Veroduko, Crankjorg, and Fletch. In your constructors' standings, it is Williams with a gigantic lead of 43 points to Racing Bulls. I do not see that being caught unless if things magically turn around. Can Ryan Brooks be that influence that gives Racing Bulls a spark to chase in the second half of the season? And of course, then, not too far behind after Andy's very disappointing result, it is the Kick Sauber down to 3rd, with McLaren not too far away, 9 points back with 74 points. 5th, Mercedes. 6th, only a point away, Ferrari. Then it's Alpine and Red Bull in a fight for 7th, and then Aston Martin rounding out your 10 constructors for the evening. We have a full grid of 20 drivers here this evening. And do not forget, one of the talking points of last week in Division 1 were the driving standards. The admin and Quincy not very happy at all with how qualifying went, and then particularly how the race went. And you might remember Andy Andre getting into a little bit of trouble. He has now faced a 10-second post-race penalty, and he had then got dropped from, I think it was 6th, yes, it was 6th place where he finished in the race, down to 13th, so a major amount of points lost, not only for driver, but for team as well. And then, of course, you have to remember, he then went through a penalty threshold. He now has a 3-second post-race penalty for the end of this race. So, with high-speed tracks, this is where Andy usually shines. I think we will see something absolutely magical from the Romanian tonight. So, let's keep an eye on him. He is my driver to watch, that is for sure. He'll be looking to bounce back after a horrible round last week. But also, we have drivers that have been promoted up. We've got Ryan Brooks in there. Well, you know, we know his mum watches his streams now as well, so he's got that extra support with him. Nice to see, by the way, a parent actually supporting the endeavors of like, you know, going into esports, like, you know, especially at this level. And then, of course, you've got Herman the German back in Tier 1 as well. Season 1 champion and also main rival to Andy most of the time. But they are quite friendly, I promise. It's a friendly rivalry, but, like, you know, we've got to spice it up here somehow in this commentary box. And then, you know, you've then got Robastian as well. Got Robastian to keep an eye on as well. 22-point gap to the world champion as well. So lots of things could happen tonight. And then, of course, you got the Ferraris and the Mercedes fighting one another in the constructors. There's a lot going on tonight. So let's just keep an eye on it and see how it's all going. By the way, hello to Nikki. By the way, I'm afraid the league is full at the moment, but you can join as a reserve driver if you are ever needed. But yes, though, you will need more than a PS4 controller because you need a PS5 to begin with as well. So, and you might just want a wheel because a lot of people are very competitive here. But anyway, in case if you are unaware of the format of SSRL tonight, so here we go. We got an 18-minute single session qualifying to decide places 1 through 20. Then we'll have a 50% race, and because Spa is a 44-lap race, that will be 22 laps. So just something to remember as well as we go in. the person who took pole last week, a shock, and someone who didn't expect it was the Hungarian driver Control, who could not convert pole. He had to end up finishing 7th place. That was of no surprise to anybody. We were thinking that was going to be a bit of a hard ask of the Alpine driver, but still, good points for the Alpine team regardless. And then Sebastian had to actually keep 2nd as Ryan Brooks were qualified from 4th place and then took the win. So we're still waiting for, I think, a pole to win conversion, although I can't remember the last time it was done, so you might just need to leave that with me. I was looking more at wheels, but I'm saving for a bike, taking the motorcycle, safety course 6 months. Oh, I see, no problem here. But anyway, bit of track history for you while we're waiting for action on track. This is the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. Out of 19 turns at a length of 7 kilometers, about 4.3 miles. And as we are seeing drivers already make their way out, we've got Andrew here. Now, just to give you an idea of his qualifying, only could manage 17th due to a DNF, but then he also got a... No, he didn't get a place grid penalty, but then, of course, because the drivers around him getting 5 place grid penalties due to collisions with other drivers, that 17th ended up becoming 15th, only could find 5 positions, so it only could finish 10th, but either way, with Sebastian 2nd, still a good haul of points for the team regardless, but for Andrew, he'll be looking to come back from that as well, as Danger David retired from the session. He is serving a qualifying ban, and of course recently went down to reserve as he can no longer race full-time, and he is with Flip Namsram in the Haas tonight. So Danger David with a quali ban, and we will soon see him in the race, but he will definitely be starting from dead last on the grid. 20th at minimum possible for the Scotsman. And he has moved, as he's moved down to reserve, he now takes the reserve championship, which he does lead by over 30 points. And with him being here tonight, I can see that we have a very interesting grid for tonight. But anyway, I do also kind of want to say as well, just to kind of spoil it a little bit, that reverse round I was talking about, which was supposed to happen tonight, and it was going to be a reverse grid, but that was, of course, scrapped by Quincy. That call is now up to me. So if qualifying finishes and I say it's reverse grid, but I have to do it in the Discord, I can't announce it in comms, then we have to restart the lobby, reverse the grid after qualifying, and then take it from there. So just to let you know of that, but I'm not going to deploy that tonight. Of course, that would be a bit too obvious if I told you about that tonight. But anyway, we are now going to see Andrew take on the legendary 7-kilometer circuit. So going down the Camel Straight, approaching Lacombe, you get up to speeds of about 340 kilometers an hour. You brake at, well, just before the 50-meter board. That's very brave braking, but makes it look very easy. Does the Romanian driver. Of course, remember, had a horrible qualifying, as we alluded to a few moments ago. And with just under 15 minutes to go, I promise you, those 15 minutes won't feel like 15 minutes. They'll feel more like 2 or 3 minutes, because the laps around here are very long compared to other tracks, as it would suggest. But anyway, can he go flat through Puon? Not quite there. Definitely had to lift. He was going wide through the first part of the turn, and now through Lafanya. Can Andrew just keep it together? Looks like an all-right line. I'd personally go a bit wider for the second entry, as there you go. My point case in point now. Stavelo 1 and then Stavelo 2 a few moments after, and that's usually flat through here, and then you're onto the straight separating Blanchimont from the bus stop. So here we go. Worst left-hander here without a name as far as I can see, but then it is this part. This is Blanchimont now. And really not needing to use all the track, but now approaching the bus stop chicane, which has changed in variation. Used to be a left, right, right, left, and then they just made it a simple right, left. So a little bit of an S. There we go, across the line. That's a 1:42.689, and then all of a sudden Control there up to pole by just under a half a second there, as Ryan Brooks there only finding a 1:43.1, but expect that to improve for them. Sebastian knocking out just about everybody by just over 0.4 of a second, and then Andy Andre, of course, with a second place 1:42.0. So Sebastian and Andy leading the way in this early part of qualifying, but like I said, it's early yet. So Flip Namsram across the line, but I think that is a cooldown in technicality, as now Rush the Syria I thought was going to be across the line. So that's going to be his Mercedes teammate of Kwan, who's starting a flyer or invalidated the lap, as Kwan now has just let a Williams go by... No, I don't think that's... No, that's a Ferrari. Beg your pardon. Apparently, I'm going a bit delusional here, chat, in my old age. Of the grand old age of 29. But now the Mr. Wowzer with the DRS Open. That's actually not a bad time there for Mr. Wowzer. That's one of the highest places I've seen him for quite a while. As now Bavish reporting problems to me in the DMs about issues with his pedals, looking to upgrade them. Can he, despite the issues, still get a good time on the board? That'll be okay. Bavish with a start there with a 143.415. But I think he'll be looking for better than that. It is now one of the Aston Martins to the line. And that is Rowley, who, of course, also takes place in Friday night's PFRL, which a lot of the drivers, there's a lot of crossover, but they usually do the 100% races and the Tuesday night 50% races. But Rowley was leading the way in the Friday night championship, but has sadly lost that now to Ryan Brooks, who is also in this lobby. But Rowley qualifying ahead of Ryan Brooks by 8 thousandths there for the time being. That's 7th place with a 143.164. And I think there is a Red Bull approaching as of right now. That's definitely not of Quincy, but I think of Crank. It's not a Red Bull approaching the line. Apparently, it's one of the Williams, and that is actually Robastian heading into the pit lane. Does anybody else try and stay out for a lap? Mr. Wowzer invalidates his in-lap, so no real worries there from what was the... I think... What was it? I can't remember now. I'm too afraid to say what the car was. But anyway, Rush to Syria with a 156.324. That's not a representative at all. I expect this lap to be faster. Of course, Herman and Rush to Syria sharing a bit of history back in Jeddah, which they both really love to talk about. The car performance is identical. I actually got to be honest, I can't remember off the top of my head. I know Quincy has told me this several times, but unfortunately, I really cannot remember. As Rush the Siri up into 5th there with a 142.654. I will have to get back to you on that one. So if you just hold back there, I can get that information to you in a few moments' time. But anyway, 144.186 from Cranjog. That's up to 12th place. But can Quan now complete this lap? Well, he's only in the first part, and I think Quincy is a little further ahead. No, in fact, he's even further back. He's just going through La Source now. Well, Quan is going through Rivage into Speaker's Corner. Quan there, very wide on the exit of Rivage, and then through Speaker's Corner, looking okay. Or Jackie X Corner, it depends which one you feel like. But now through Puon, this double left-handed corner, very wide through there, it validates the lap. So that is somewhere where where drivers are gonna have to be a little careful. Invalidation is pretty easy through that corner there. It's very easy just to kind of go wider. It's a corner that invites you to go a lot wider than you think you can, and then all of a sudden, let's see Raul Russia Siri takes it. There you go, that's more like it. So the teammate of Quan there taking that a bit more how you should, really. Just a more representative version of how you take the corner. And by the way, I was talking about how fast the qualifying session goes, as then Russia Siri validates it through Lafanya. So invalidated that here for both Mercedes on that flying lap. So we'll now cut to Quincy, who is just going through that corner. Rush the Siri just invalidated on. You can see the gravel line there on Quincy's right-hand side. And now through Stavlo 1 and 2. And I'm just wondering if this is not a representative. It looked very slow there through the first part of that corner, but he's kept his foot in it for now. Let's go on board with the Red Bull driver as he now is down the straight, approaching Blanchimont. Then the bus stop will be there in a few moments' time. So there you go, small steering inputs there, trying to carry the maximum speed that you can at the 100-meter board. I'm afraid you're going to overcook it there. You really want to be about 125 meters away. So unfortunately for him, it's going to be a compromise lap. That's a 143.988, and I don't think the Red Bull driver will be happy with that. Let's have a look at Race Chase. Currently in a fight for, when I get that information to you, currently in a fight for 5th with Quincy and Bavish there. He's up into 8th place, so he's qualified ahead of the Red Bull driver for now. And his teammate Bavish. So the McLaren's actually having a decent run here, but one to keep an eye on as well. Energetic. Of course, a race winner. Let's see, where was it? I think he was a race winner at some point. I just can never remember where, but it was a couple of seasons ago. I think I want to say it was at Zandvoort, but you'll need to leave that with me again, and I'll also get back to you, Nikki, about the car performances. So here we go. Down the straight. And that separates Blanchimont from the bus stop. There you go, taking that very fast left-hander, and then up to the slow right and left currently are finishing the lap here. The fastest at 1:41.798. Robastian and Andy currently on flying laps as we speak. But first, we need to see how Energetic does 8th place. Pip's race chase. Now, where's Robastian? Just starting his flying lap. And Andy is just going through Rivage now, but down by nearly a 100th and a half there as he goes onto the gravel on the exit of Speaker's Corner. It looks like to me that Andy is just struggling with the handling this time around. If he's getting the time through Puon, that might just be what he needs. But Lefania will be a lot more important for the kick salver at hand here. And Andy is actually doing well to get that kick salver rotated. You actually saw him struggle there. Just had a bit of understeer in the second part of the chicane there. Well, the S section. And he's down by 6/10. So clearly he's given up on that lap. And I think Control is actually going fast here. He's up into 4th place. Mr. Wouter taking 5th away from him. Andrew there across the line. He's up into 5th place there. And doing a lot better than he was last week. Remember, that chaotic qualifying session. He still found 15th place, but could only manage a 10th place finish. And so Control on a bit of a run, but he was pole position, and it was a shock to everybody when that happens. But looks like he's in the realm to do it again. Just over 0.4 of a second separating him from pole position. Of course, that time for Robastian as, oh, Control very wide there. Invalidates the lap, so that'll be the end of that. But Robastian just going through Blanchimont now is going to come to the end of his flyer. We don't quite know the sector differences as of right now, but through the bush top chicane. And then we're going to go to the start-finish line now as Sveta goes up into 8th. Nice time for him, but Robastian there with another improvement. It's a 1:41.657. I don't think that's quite enough, you know. Mr. Wouter will cut to now. He's just gone through Speaker's Corner now, approaching Puon. And he is coming down to the double left-handed corner now. Doesn't invalidate the time like Quan did. Just a bit of an update on Quan. He is the only driver that's still in the session to actually not complete a lap. He's got no time on the board, and if he is not able to put a time on the board, he will start behind Danger David there. So something to watch out for. Quan in a bit of danger to David. No pun intended, I promise. But oh my goodness me, Mr. Wouter spins it in Stavlo too, and that is the end of, well, it wasn't a promising flying lap. He was down on his personal best in both sectors, and it just looked like to me that he was struggling a little bit. Now, in case you're wondering why I'm saying that, is because the delta on the top right only compares to your session's personal best, not the overall session best. And by the way, Herman back in familiar colours. In one of the seasons he contended with Andy, he was actually in the Racing Bulls, I do believe. Of course, his iconic season came in the Mercedes, both of those being very iconic for their own reasons. But anyway, Herman back in familiar territory, and he is full-time in that car, and he has Ryan Brooks for help as well. But Ryan Brooks down in 12th as of right now, currently down on his time, so I imagine Ryan has more time in that car. Of course, the race winner from last week. But I think Control will be looking to try and make it 2 poles in a row, but only 5 minutes to go now. And I'm just wondering where Robastian is. I think we're just going to approach him as we go through Blanchimont. There he is now, so that is definitely Robastian, because his teammate Andrew is in the pit, so he's the only Williams out there as of right now. Herman through the bus stop chicane, onto the start-finish straight he goes. So that's going to be 6th place. That's an improvement of 0.4, which now brings him in just over the 0.8 of a second range there. So I don't think he's going to be contending for pole position, but always keep an eye out for Herman with his race pace, as then I thought somebody else came across the line just there and knocked Bavish down a couple of positions. I believe that was Flip there. He's up to 10th, as now Bavish up into 7th, so relegates everybody behind him, but not able to pip Herman for 6th. So Bavish now 7th. Looks like those little problems he's having with the pedal are starting to slowly slip away. But Bavish yet again in the top 10. And just to give you an idea of where he qualified last week, of course, he initially qualified 10th, but because Andy had a 5-place grid penalty for collision, as did Danger David in his final race as a full-time driver, Bavish had 2 free positions. So that meant he actually got to start 8th place. And so there you go. As now, I think it's Tabran who's just finished the lap, 1:43.373. And he's just overtaken Andy down the old start-finish straight. That's the downhill one. But I do think Andy will be allowed back past. Or maybe he's given Andy a sort of slipstream. But then again, Andy's only on an outlap, so I don't quite see why Tabran needs to stay in front there. That was the other Alpine of Kovachka there, just tried to get out of the way. of both Tabran and Andy Andre, but I don't think either are on a flying lap. Let's just cut back to Tabran for a few moments. Didn't quite catch his difference in Sector 1. Don't think this should be a quick one, but we'll just keep an eye on him as we go through Sector 2. No other drivers apart from Rush the Series on a fly, and Rush the Series just coming to Lecom now. And we'll soon find out, because he goes through Sector 2 timing beams in a couple of corners' time. Needs to knock out Lafania as Stavilo won first. But this is looking rather quick from the Aston Martin driver. Looks like he is putting pedal to the metal. We'll find out there. And 3/10 improvement, so that'll find him in the low 143s as of right now. But of course, that would mean he's definitely improved through Sector 1, as Herman the German has retired in the pit lane, so no need for any intervention at all, but he believes he can't go any faster than a 142.4. And of course, Herman, after taking wins in Tier 2, promoted up to Tier 1, or Division 1, if you're going by the stream names. But here we go, to Brand to the line, 142.4, and that is how the track is improving. That is nearly a second improvement, and that finds Tabran in the top 10. Great time from the Aston Martin driver, and he was with us last week, but could only manage a 12th place qualifying, which then became, because of Danger David's 5-place grid penalty, that then became 11th. He then found 5 places and finished in 6th there, and he's already qualified. Well, he's currently in that position where he finished last week, but there'll be drivers improving around him, and final flying laps, well, are going to start coming. So Tabran has completed his qualifying program. He cannot do any more. It's going to be up to Andy Andre, being second place throughout the entirety of Tier 1, but 1 win for him as Ryan Brooks goes across the line for the last time. 6th place for the Racing Bulls driver. He cannot improve any further, but Andy Andre on a mission to get a 5th Drivers' Championship in a row. His charge needs to start now after a disappointing qualifying in Jeddah and a disappointing race, and then a 3-second penalty to boot post-race in this one as well due to the penalty points threshold. Andy really needs to put magic together. He is capable of it. We have seen it before. We have seen last to first from Andy in 10 laps, and he really needs to bring a performance like that this evening, and it has to get the foot in the right door in qualifying. Through the final straight now, the left-hander of Bonchimon, then the chicane of the bus stop. It is all that's left for Andy. 35 seconds on the clock as Andy, in the unlikeliest car of the Kick Sauber, is going to get across the line. Bit of a moment through there, but then on the start-finish straight, he looks to have put it together. It's an improvement, but it's not pole. It is not enough for pole position. And Bastion is starting a final flying lap as well. Control is also on a final flyer. Mr. Welter is also on a final flyer, as is Andrew. And, well, let's try and catch the furthest car on track, which I believe is Rush the Series, who is up 4/10 in Sector 2 here. He's going to approach the bus stop chicane for the last time this qualifying session. Of course, he'll be able to do that again in the race. But here we go as Rush the Series having a moment on the exit. And that lost all the time there, so unable to improve there. That's one of the Haas drivers going across the line now. That is Flip, but he will not be able to complete a time there, as I believe he's already had one. Well, he's already done a flying lap earlier on. I think he was trying to go for a second one, but timed that rather poorly, if I say so myself. He's just gone through the source now, but Andrew to the line. DRS opening 3rd place for the Williams, but there are still drivers completing their laps. There's a McLaren to the line. It's Race Chase, and he gets 12th place for the time being. There's a Red Bull in the background. Is that Quincy? It's Crank Jorg at the moment. He's up to 16th. And then Sveda to the line as well. 8th place. Then there's a Ferrari. I think that's energetic then. It is not. It is Mr. Walter taking away pole position, and Bastion has parked it. He can't go any further forward. What about Control? There's another Ferrari who's going into the pit lane, but Mr. Walter has taken away pole position from the Romanian of Robastion. Another shock in qualifying. Can Control do it again? No, he can't. Control has been denied as Rowley is on an invalidated lap, but Quincy is the only driver who is on a flyer, but he's invalidated. He will not improve, but what will the time be? He's frustrated. He's driving angry as he comes towards the start-finish line, and he's 1.6 seconds down. What a lap by Wouter, says Moksha. Welcome in as well to you. My word. A shocker well, I say a shock, an upset in qualifying. Mr. Wouter takes pole position here in Spa with a 1:41.624, 33 hundredths separating the Ferrari and the Williams. And don't forget about the constructors' fight for Ferrari and Mercedes really struggling 17th and 12th. This is not what the British team would have wanted, but energetic all the way down in 14th there as well. But Mr. Wouter, with the lap of the gods here in Spa-Francorchamps, gets himself to pole position by the tiniest of margins. And let's go through your official qualifying results. So, your pole position with an upset, like I've said already, Mr. Wouter. Then it's Sebastian, Andy, and Andrew. Not going to be a Romanian lookout for the top three. But then, and fifth place is controlled. Then from 6th to 10th is Ryan, Tabran, Sveta, Herman, and then Rowley. And then from 11th to 15th is Bavish, Russia Siri, Race Chase, Energetic, and Flip. From 16th to 20th is Crank, Kwan, Quincy, Kovachka, and of course, serving a qualifying ban in 20th is Danger David. Of course, Danger David recently being going down to reserve. It was his choice. Just a bit busy with life at the moment to dedicate himself to the league full-time in Division 1. It's a bit of a shame because Danger David has given us some epic moments. For example, you got to think back to Season 4 when there was a three-way battle between Andy Andre, Herman the German, and himself. But then, unfortunately, Danger David just couldn't quite finish that final race. Struggled with the rear end of what I believe was a Red Bull at the time. And, well, unfortunately, has not really been in title contention ever since. But he does currently lead the reserve drivers by over 34 points. But anyway, I need to find out a couple of things for Nikki. And then I'll be right back with you. So I'm going to leave with the synthwave. We'll be underway again very shortly for a 22-lap race here around the legendary Spa-Francorchamps. And as we welcome you back, we've only got 1 minute till the actual starting time for the actual race. Of course, as we've said already, a 22-lap race. But for those of you just joining, very good evening to you. Hope you're having a good Monday evening, and if you're not, well, I do hope that SSRL is here to cheer you up, or if you're watching this on YouTube, hope you've been having a good day, and whatever time it is, as now we're going to start the formation lap. We'll run through your grid one last time for those that have just joined, and then, of course, we will have racing action coming your way. So, of course, on pole position, and by a real shock, it is Mr. Wouter. All on medium tyres. We'll go through that tyre allocation in just a moment, and then it's Robastian in second, Andy Andre in third, Andrew, three out of the three Romanians, which are Andy and Robastian, currently lock out second or fourth. Then it's Control in fifth place. Couldn't quite make it 2 in a row for pole, but could he actually try and go for the race win? We'll find out. Last week's race winner, Ryan Brooks, starts sixth place. Tabran in seventh, with Sveta Ferenik finding some real good pace there in the kickstart, but he starts eighth, with Herman the German, recently promoted from Tier 2 to Tier 1, is now starting 9th place. Rowley in 10th, with Bavish with pedal issues starting 11th. Rush the Siri in 12th. His teammate to Bavish, Race Chase starts 13th, unlucky number for some. Energetic is at a moment in the formation lap, but he starts 14th regardless. Flip now starts 15th, with Craig Jorg in 16th, Quan in 17th there, Quincy 18th there after invalidating his final flying lap, Kovachka retiring early, and Dage David serving a qualifying ban down in 20th, with Kovachka ahead of him in 19th. But everybody will be shocked by that lap from Mr. Wouter there, because he wouldn't have been in contention for pole, at least not in my opinion. And also, just kind of go through who's starting on what. Only one driver, that's Flip, starting on the hard tyres in the Haas there. And he's the only one. All the rest have opted for mediums, so all the rest will probably go a short distance for this first stint. And then for the second stint, we are going to go onto they will go into the hards. Now, the other question that we just simply don't know, are they going to do a 1 or 2 stop? But of course, we'll have to wait and see as the race gets into its kind of middling section here. Gets halfway through, I would assume to say. But of course, some might pit early in case they have damage, and a lot of cars are just looking like they're a bit out of position. Especially that Aston Martin there to Bran. If you do get disqualified from the formation lap, of course, you have cold tyres. But we are just waiting for David now to... Who's the best F1 commentator in the world? Probably not Dave, but he's... funny men in chat. Funny man. As now, well, actually, it's going to be Energetic who actually lines up the grid. So he'll still start from 14th. But everybody, success and convince formation lap. But now, a race to come your way. The countdown will begin. As of right now, we have 3, 4, 5 red lights. It's going Spa, and Mr. Wouter there, I don't think quite got away well, and Robastian there has already taken the lead of the race, and now it's going to be Mr. Wouter to the inside, but he's not able to defend it, as now there's the Williams of Andrew with a lightning start there, as there's a bit of carbon fibre in the background going flying. That looked like it was from a McLaren, but Andy Andre is off to a disastrous start, but Mr. Wouter even worse, and there's the Williams up first and second, and somebody's gone very wide there. That was Tabran. I think he's gone into the wall, and he has crashed out of the session, and there's Mr. Wouter going side by side, but I'll call it off, boys, because safety car deployed thanks to that incident, and I think somebody lost their front wing end plate as well in all of that. From what I saw, it was the Aston Martin of Rowley. His front wing end plate has completely gone, and everybody's trying to dictate the order, and somebody else's end plate has gone. Who was that? That looked like one of the Williams. It was not. I don't know. Oh, it was Control in the Alpine. As now his front wing end plate has completely decimated. You're the best that I've heard. That's good for me. Aw. But anyway, drama in the Alpine, and Control not off. In fact, yeah, just the left-hand side of the end plate is gone. And so after everybody bunched up, Control was the unfortunate victim in all of that. Not anticipating that everyone would come to a stop, and to be honest, neither would I. I don't think I would have done any better in his shoes, so I'm not really going to say that. But as of right now, a lap 1, and then after only, what is 1, 2, 3, let's see, 1, 2, 3, I would say 4 turns, we've had our first safety car. We didn't even get through Lacombe before Virtual Race Control said, nope, we're going to have to clear up the car, clear up the debris. So we shouldn't be on the safety car long. Should only be about 1 or 2 laps, and then we'll get racing again. But are we going to see pit stops in this early stage? Flip Namstram on the hards has probably regretted this decision, because now everybody can try it. Well, I would say everybody, but then I don't think have they not realised it's a safety car? I'd say, well, Control has, but he's got damage, so he can actually try and make this work. And there you go, Rolly, Herman, and Energetic are doing the same as Control, but Control has got his own reasons. He's got front wing damage, but it's going to be very tight if he comes out ahead. He's going to be under pressure from the Ferrari and the Aston Martin as soon as this pit stop is complete. Oh, it's going to be very close, but the Alpine will stay ahead for the time being. Does he get in front of the Racing Bulls? Yes, he does. So at least Control won't have any traffic to worry about from early stoppers. Kerman into the pits for hards. Energetic in for mediums. Rolly in for mediums as well. Does he? I don't think he would have had damage to his front wing, but there we go. So this will honestly not take too long at all for the pack to catch up. We'll be racing. I don't think it'll be the end of this lap, but it will be certainly the end of the next one. I think the safety car does need to stay out for at least a minimum of 2 laps before Race Control do actually think about calling in the safety car. But now, from 1 hard runner to 4, we've got Flip, Control, Herman, and SSRL Quincy all trying the 1 stop here. They will hope that the safety car stays in for just 1 last lap, and then they could go 20 laps on these hards. That should just about be comfortable enough. Don't forget, the lap here is very long, as like I said before, it is 7 kilometers, equaling about 4.3 miles. So I would say that even if they do get to the end on this, it will be very close. So let's see. I mean, if we do go all the way this lap, that will be about 20 laps at racing speed, but 1 lap at safety car speed, if you know what I mean. So there'll be there's different ways to measure that. So, do Virtual Race Control call in the safety car this lap? I personally say yes, although I wouldn't be surprised if Race Control do leave it out for another lap. That would be just like them. Of course, if you've just come off the real-life Spa-Francorchamps Grand Prix from this weekend, you'll know that they kept it out for a total of 4 laps, when I think it could have gone in just like a couple of laps sooner. But anyway, that's my opinion. I'm not an F1 Race Control director. I don't know. I don't know as much as them. But anyway, enough about real-life driving. I don't think Race Control are going to call in the safety car, so we will have to have another lap, and like I predicted, so we will get racing again on lap 4 out of 22. And for everyone at the back there, that's going to be a huge sigh of relief. So that will be 19 laps at racing speed on those hard tyres, and they will have... I don't think they'll quite have the undercut advantage. It's just a bit too soon for that to happen, but they can at least go to the end on this 1 stop. Nobody also going into the pits on this lap, despite what has happened with the 4 at the back. So, I mean, that's what I would do. Like, I mean, Herman had nothing to lose, really. Quincy, nothing to lose. Disappointing qualifying for him. 18th place there. And Control, well, down 10 positions, but that's only because he suffered front wing damage when everybody just came to a screeching halt approaching Rivage. And Control, well, lost his front left end plate. Hopefully he's got no other damage than that, and he can continue on comfortably and try and make his way up the field. But it's got a long way to go. Remember, he qualified 5th. But let's see, any big gains on that opening lap? Well, Flip is up 5 positions, but Danger David up 8 positions, so he's already making his way up the field. But we'll just have to be careful of the drivers behind him. And, well, he might have... I don't know, if I was David as well, would have probably gone into the pits myself and tried to go to the end on those hards. So, if we get to ask him about it, if he's on the podium, well, we know that was the right strategy. But anyway... there is still going to be 19 laps when we get to the line, and when safety car is called in, it should be this lap, and then at least for the hard runners. So you're looking at a Control, Herman the German, and Quincy. They should be able to just about get to the end. It will be very close, but I do believe Virtual Race Control will now see it fit to say Brands debris has been cleared, and we are going to be under racing conditions yet again in a few moments' time. We will have to wait an extra lap for DRS to be activated, so there will be no DRS on this opening lap, but then once we get to the next lap, you will see it down the Kemmel Straight, which is, of course, straight after Radion when you go through Eau Rouge. And here we go. Any moment now, safety car will be called in. You'll see that graphic at the top of your screen like you do in real life F1. And there you go. There it is. Safety car in this lap. And Robastian will lead the field of what are 18 cars, 19 if you include him, behind him. And now he is going to be the one who gets us underway. So Robastian, let that Williams engine take it away. And look at that massive lock-up for Andrew. Going through the bus stop chicane. Robastian with an absolute cushion. Robastian with a great start. That will be the dream of all dreams. Mr. Walter under pressure to lose another position to the current champion. Andy Andre there. It's not Dage David, I promise. Oh, goodness me. Mr. Walter unable to get himself composed. Goes wide at the source. Andy Andre through to third. But then Mr. Walter has the slipstream on the comeback as well with the German side by side with Kavachka for 15th place. But let's keep an eye on Mr. Walter and Andy Andre. So can Mr. Walter come back at the Kicksauber through to Lecom? No, he can't. He has no DRS. He only has a slipstream. It's not enough, as now we are seeing battles everywhere. We are seeing Herman the German under pressure again from Kavachka, but then from a being under pressure to putting someone else under pressure. That was round the outside of Lecom. Can he make that work? Oh my word! Herman the German with the move of all moves, and he gets that done. What an excellent move from the German driver. And then he gets that done. Energetic up into 16th as well. Quincy, unable to get any sort of moves done, has to slot him behind the Alpine of Kavachka, who's been losing position since the restart. Don't quite know what that's all about. Wonder if Kavachka has some damage or he's just that slow. But at the moment, he has got, of course, Rowley behind as well. Rowley quick in his own right. And, well, we'll have to see who's closest on track right now. It is the two Hasses of Danger David and Flip Lamb's Ram. Caution in Sector 1. Short-lived as everybody's still pointing in the right direction. But there is no caution in Sector 1, so that is a glitch. And there we go. That is Danger David through on his teammate Flip. And that was Quan, I think, overtaking Kavachka? Yeah, I think it is. Or somebody on someone. And there we go. It's Quan on Quan on Energetic, or Energetic on Quan, one of the two. And I think it is the opposite way round, but Quan's still trying to defend it. The Alpine and Kavachka right into the back of the Mercedes on the exit of the bus stop. And now surely Quincy needs to have a go, but it's going to be Rowley having a go at the Red Bull side by side through the source. Any contact, maybe just a little bit. But at the end of the day, it all works out. And there we go. There's control. And Rush to Siri side by side through. Oh, Rouge to Radion. How have they kept pointing in the right direction? There's who's on the back of this. It's Herman the German. Can he benefit from this? DRS open. We're going to see a three-car battle down to Lecom. Who's going to win out? It is Rush to Siri round the outside. But the Red Bull is still there. It gives up eventually as Rowley makes a position on Kavachka for 17th in the background. And Danger David's crashed. Oh, no. Danger David with a crash coming out of Lecom and down to Rivage. He's lost the rear end, crashed it, and it's a virtual safety car. So what that means is a virtual safety car is where you need to follow a delta on the track, which race control give you, and then you have to follow that until the virtual safety cars end, and then what you have to do is then just go back to racing speed. But if you do get caught speeding, it is usually a drive-through penalty or a 10-second penalty, depending on the severity of how you've sped. And then we'll see how that all turns out. But now the racing is eliminated yet again, but most of the action not coming at the front. But let's give a round of applause to Babish here, up 5 positions, 1.3 seconds away from the top 5. He is absolutely on a mission, as is Sveda, actually. Give him a bit of credit. Up a position from his starting place. Got 8th place in quali there. And is now making it work to full effect. He's got 7th place in the race. While the Williams still holding on to those two positions as drive-through. There you go, drive-through penalty for Rush to Sirius. Now Andy Andre on the restart is absolutely electric. Where Bastian has to swerve right to cover him off. There's Mr. Welter and Andrew going side by side through the source. And already the racing action picks up where it left off, and it's at the front of the field this time around. But you are going to see DRS activated for these drivers in a few moments' time. And Andy Andre, wow, with an electrifying restart on the VSC, but he's already under pressure from Andrew. Here comes the slipstream, though. That was so prevalent in the race over the weekend. But Andy Andre can't find anywhere to go. DRS train has ultimately stopped that. Did Svenna find a way past? Race Chase, no, and Control couldn't find a way past Flip as well. But more action in the background. Rowley and Quan side by side through Lecom. Squincy is still stuck here. That's how he goes side by side with Kovachka out of Lecom. Down through Rivage. Can he make an unlikely overtake work? No. Quincy has to stay where he is, but Rush to Sirius had a moment as well. And has he got any damage? Let's just take a quick look. No, so he's able to continue on as far as we can see, but there might be some unseen damage that is not visible to our cameras. Andy Andre now on a serious charge. He is looking to bring his championship fight back to the front. And he, of course, no points for a fastest lap here as Control gets past Flip around the outside of Stavilo 1 there. That's for 9th position. What an overtake there from the Alpine driver. That is some epic stuff. As now, well, there's been an incident in the background, I think. Someone's been involved in something. Quan has gone round, I think, because Quincy and Kovachka have just got a nice cushion away from both Mercedes drivers. Oh, goodness me, what a disappointing outlook for them. It's now Bavish and Ryan Brooks going side by side down the start, finish straight. Control, and then Herman takes the fast step away in just a mere moment's time. And then it's Crank Jorg into the pits. Are those mediums already done on the Red Bull? Let's just take a quick look. Do we have the tyres? Yes, we do. He's on hards already. But here we go. Andy for the lead of the race. Down the outside. DRS open for the Kick-Sauber. Can he make the move stick into Lecom? He definitely can. Andrew still right on the back of that Kick-Sauber, though. But in the background, his teammate Svenna has also got the move done for 7th and Control with that early stop as well. Gets past Race Chase and has now got the Kick-Sauber in his sights. That Alpine making great progress through the field. But now, of course, it's a 6-car battle for the lead of the race, but there's a lot of action happening elsewhere. Quincy has also got past Kovachka for 14th, so that's one to keep an eye on as well. Quan trying to get that time back, which he lost through both Stavilos, which were approaching. Oh, a lot of cars going very wide there through Pouon. Careful, you'll get a 3-second penalty and even some invalidated flying laps. And look at this. Now, I need you all to remember that Andy Andre, due to penalties from last week in Jeddah, has a 3-second post-race penalty to come his way due to passing a penalty points threshold. Now, luckily, Sebastian and Andrew are not under that pressure. Mr. Walter and Bavish and Ryan Brooks, though, are, so they really need to get a hurry up on and try and make some progress here if they want to benefit from that post-race penalty for Andy. As now we've seen Control and Svenna go side by side. That was through Blanchemont there. How did they get out the other side? As Kovachka has had a moment here. And he's pointing the right way, but that was out of Stavilo. As now Andrew has overtaken his teammate, but that's because his teammate is in the pits. So Sebastian is going to try for the undercut, but Andrew has been looking up his tyres, and he's looking like he's having a lot of trouble on those mediums. I don't quite know what's going on there, but it's certainly not what he would want to be doing. And, well, that's certainly a bit troublesome as Kovachka now into the pit. So I think after that spin in Stavilo, he's also got some damage. But here we go. There's going to be some overtakes. Keep an eye out. Bavish to the inside of Mr. Welter. Mr. Welter back on the podium positions, but then loses it again in a matter of moments. Control there is also getting onto the back of this. So a 6-car battle for the lead of the race. Well, 7-car battle because we have, you know who, Sebastian just made his pit stop. And Quincy now in free air, but I don't think he's going to keep Sebastian behind for long. But Herman as well on the back of Flip. And Herman back in Tier 1 after being promoted from Tier 2. Took 2 wins in a row. And now Herman gets the move done. And that is him to the inside before Pouon. And Herman up into 8th there. So Herman with the hurry up. And they're now on the back of Svenna there, who went very wide on the exit. And as they come through Lafanya, or Herman already within that DRS zone. And oh, goodness me, Quincy with the first 3-second track limit violation penalties. Not really been a good evening for him. Invalidated his flying lap, saw him start 18th, and now has got that to serve post-race. So at least him and Andy have something in common, even though it's probably not the thing he'd want to have in common with Andy in this current moment in time. But let's have a look now. So biggest improvements as of right now, well, definitely Bavish there, up 8 positions, so he's got race pace for days. But Andrew has just come into the pit lane, nobody else following suit, and now, well, Andy's got that 3-second gap, but of course that's very temperamental. It's now Control. It's going to try around the outside of Ryan Brooks, last week's winner, as Mr. Wouter again, very wide through La Source. I wonder what's going on with that Ferrari. I wonder if he's got a hardware issue, as now Control makes it work, sticks it up to 3rd, and remember, Control's already made his stop, so he doesn't need to worry about making another. So he might be on for the winning of for the win of the race here. But Ryan Brooks with DRS will quickly get past again. But Control there is certainly become the underdog that's become a contender, and this could be one hell of a race from the Alpine driver as now there. Robastian getting past Quincy rather easily, and yeah, that was never going to be a fight for anything. Quincy just giving up that position as of right now. So there we go. Robastian now starting to make up time after his pit stop. Started on the medium tyres. Has gone on to another set of medium tyres. So will need to stop again. That's an interesting call from the Williams, and I wonder if that's a glitch. I don't think if you're at this stage of the race, you'd get another set of mediums. Because he didn't pit, he definitely started on the mediums. So Robastian there has really cornered himself. Is he banking on another safety car? That would be quite the gamble, and we'll have to speak to him about that. But, oh, goodness me, Russ Lasiri nearly causing safety car number 2 as he nearly lost it coming out of Lafanya. Had a bit of a moment, but gets it all together again, and will continue on. But Quan there, not too far away, as Ryan Brooks and Bavish into the pit lane now. So now we need to keep an eye on who is going to be where. So we are going to keep all eyes on Robastian right now. He's already through the bus stop chicane. He is going to make a mincemeat of absolutely everybody in the pits. It's not even going to be close. And there we are. Robastian overtakes just about the entirety of the guys he was ahead of. And then Control and Mr. Wouter, well, just hanging on for dear life. At the moment, 5 seconds between Andy and Control. But remember, Control doesn't need to make another pit stop. He could go to the end on those tyres. He's already done that. As did Quincy as well. But I don't think Quincy is going to be happy with the fact that his 3-second penalty will now count towards his post-race time. And so who has made their stop? Energetic has already made his stop, but he went on to a set of mediums, so he has to stop again, because he also started on the medium. I don't understand that one little bit, because Robastian does have to pit again. Control doesn't. Herman doesn't either. He pitted early, and that undercut has really started working to the mediums in front. Although it's only a 1-lap difference, I'm sure those mediums are starting to feel a little bit used. And so can Herman actually get onto the back of the Alpine of Control, which of course also had to replace his front wing. So that's what makes this even more epic for him, as now Andrew has gotten round the outside of the Red Bull of Quincy there for 9th place. So now the Williams running 8th and 9th respectively. But now it's either Herman or Control for the race win, you would bet, as Andy Andre still needs to make his stop. Does he come into the pits at this moment? Yes, he does. So it will be Control who takes the lead in the race. Does Mr. Welter follow suit as well? He indeed does. So now, first and second will be occupied on genuine pace here by Herman and Control. So first Control, second is Herman. But can Herman bring down that gap? And can he bring a fight? As we are now at the halfway point of the Grand Prix. And we are now starting to see pit stops being made. So Bavish currently behind Quincy, but he should be able to catch that up. I mean, Quincy hasn't shown the most inspiring of pace tonight, as now he's right. Oh, well, there's Andy RJ. He's come out ahead of Andrew. That is important for what is the constructors. Svena is down in 13th as of right now, but of course then Andy will be under pressure from Andrew. Let's go on board with the Williams driver. DRS open down the Kemmel Straight. Andy doesn't fight it. He needs to warm up his tyres still, and that's him up into 6th place there. So, sorry, 7th place, beg your pardon. So, Andrew up into 7th place, Andy Andre down to 8th, and now the race will resume. As they go, Andrew again, lock it up. That's been a consistent problem for him all night long. And I just wonder if there's some sort of issue with Andrew's hardware there, where it's not tracking the braking pressure correctly. And I am a bit worried. I'm a bit worried about Andrew. He won't be flat spotting anything, I don't think, but his tyre wear will increase if that continues on. So Andrew just needs to be a little careful here as he goes through the race. But he's still under pressure from Andy. Those tyres will be more than up to temperature by now. And that gap is now at nearly 7/10 of a second. It's currently going down all the time as Andy also has slipstream there, but also using his battery, as you can see there. Now regenerating through Blanchimont as Flip is now the next driver into the pits. And there you go, Andrew with a massive lockup again. And through the bus stop, he looked really unsettled through there. And even then, it looked like there was another lockup going into the source there. And even then, a lockup from Robastian. So I wonder if that is a deliberate tactic done by the drivers there. We'll have to ask about that. But here we go. Andrew now under pressure. And Bavish has even caught up to the back of this. Ryan Brooks will be with them in just a few moments if it stays like this. But Andrew now will not be feeling comfortable in that Williams car. Andy Andre is now catching up, and there you go. Andrew to the inside, but it's of little use. He can't really defend, and that is Andy up into 5th place. And I think, well, once Energetic... Well, no, Energetic has made his stop, but has to stop again, as does Robastian. But I think Robastian has thrown away the win, to be honest with you. And, well, Herman, in a race of his own here, he is up to 2nd place, and even Control 2.1 seconds down the road in a race of his own. Remember, got pole position last week and got 5th place this week, but is now currently leading the race after being forced into an early pit stop due to front wing damage on the safety car. I don't think he'll be thinking about that anymore because he is currently 2.1 seconds down the road. That's going to be a lot. It's now Quincy to the inside there. I thought he made a mistake through Puan, but I think he was actually just letting the Ferrari through. Quincy not bothering to fight really all that hard. And now Mr. Martin goes through and is going to try and catch up. Well, look at this. Andy has left Andrew behind. I'll try not to get those two mixed up, but there you go. Bavish now going to put Andrew under pressure. What has happened to the Williams here? They are just... Well, Andrew's just not on it again. Well, we saw it last week, but that was only because of qualifying. Goes wide through the first part of the bus stop again. That's going to leave him vulnerable to the McLaren behind, and now Bavish with DRS, and there's Ryan Brooks now, so it's a 3-car battle for 6th place. And well, Bavish is going to be smart and wait for the Kemmel straight. Will he give a bit of a gap to the Williams? Yes, he doesn't want to be too close, going up Eau Rouge into Radian, and we'll see how this works out. But I think Andrew has done just enough to get a gap, but we'll wait and see. As that, oh, it looks like there was a mistake through Radian, so let's go on board with the McLaren, and there you go. I think Andrew is recharging battery. He's made a mistake here. And now Bavish will be down the inside, coming into Lacombe, but not Lacombe even. Not quite quick enough to catch up to the back of the Williams. I think he just had a bit of battery left as now Flip up into 11th there on Sveda. There's a lot of overtaking happening here, but look at Robastian. Has got that gap down rather quickly, but needs to stop again. And that is because he has gone onto the same compound twice. You need to switch over in order to get that working, in order for to make sure you're not penalised, beg your pardon. And it's now right on the back of Energetic. And now Energetic, I'm trying to remember, did he start, was he the one who started on the hards? No, that was Flip, I think. Yeah, Flip started on the hards. He's just got up into 10th and has got past Quincy at the same point that Mr. Wouter did last lap. And so, yeah, no, Flip off those hard tyres. He's onto a set of mediums. So now Robastian definitely needs to pit again to get back onto the correct tyre strategy. I'm just wondering now. I wonder how that's gone as now Sveda has got past Quincy there. And there you go, Robastian into the pits. Control into the... A 2-stop? You can't be serious. You actually can't be serious. That is a shock. A 2-stop? Here? At this point? Incredible. Control couldn't go to the end on those hards. And now he comes out ahead of Flip, but he's going to be under pressure. He won't have the DRS to Mr. Melter in front. But I'm shocked by that. I am really shocked. I don't know about that one, man. I don't know about that one, to be honest with you, as Babish has now made his way up into 4th. That is just shocking. I'm kind of a little speechless, as Andrew is definitely struggling. 5 laps already on those hard tyres. They shouldn't be that far gone. If that, well, depending on how heavy Andrew has been looking the tyres, when we've not been looking at the Williams, maybe that is about right, and maybe Andrew will even have to pit again himself. But where did Sebastian's come out 14th? I don't see how that's going to work. At this point, the race 9 laps to go is now, oh my goodness me, Andy round the outside in Lafania makes the move work. And look who is ahead. It is his former championship rival from season 2, 3, 4, and then, well, not 5. Herman didn't actually race in that season, but from seasons 2 to 4, his championship rival is right in front of him. And, well, Sebastian as well making moves in the background. But now, can Herman make the one-stop work? Can he keep it consistent? He'll be very familiar with Andy's tactics, and he will be just very wary. He'll be trying to keep the gap at around that 4-second mark. As now Babish, who's gone into the pits? Energetic into the pits again. So he's done the 2-stop as well. But I don't think that was the right call. I think Sebastian has lost this on strategy and is now, well, that good result from Jenna is gonna ebb out. As now, here we go, Sebastian on Race Chase for 11th. He locks up both tyres. That allows Race Chase back through. Sebastian is struggling to make up positions here, but they're going to go side by side. This could end very badly for one of the drivers. Whoa, goodness me. There was nearly contact between the McLaren and the Williams. And look at that. Something's wrong with that Williams for sure. I just don't see how that's normal. And now we're going to see a three-row barrel. Sebastian cuts off the McLaren. Aggressive driving here from the Romanian. And I think he is driving angry now, because I think he's realised that the 2-stop was not the way to go. And Andy is now approaching the back of Herman. Why would you risk a stop now if you're one of the top 3? And Andy Andre has already left Babish by 2.6 seconds. And now Andrew is still on the back of Ryan Brooks. Yeah, that one is going to be a real head-scratcher where we get to the end of this race. But there's 8 laps to go. There's still time in this race. So maybe Sebastian has secretly been a genius, where I've been a little bit dumb. We'll, of course, soon find out. But now, Herman is currently got 2.8 seconds to Andy Andre. Andy is just getting the time down at a rate of knots. He'll be with Herman way before the end of the race. I would predict that to be on about lap 18 or lap 19. Maybe even sooner than that. But it won't be a lot of laps left, and maybe Herman will try to... And look at that, Andrew with another lock up into the bus stop, but actually meets the apex this time around. Should get a good enough run. We'll have the DRS, of course, hopefully through both of them, as Control now takes the fastest lap of the race. Control is currently in 6th place. He's looking at Andrew at about 1.6 seconds. But I'm even surprised Control had to pit again. I don't know if he needed to. I really don't know if he needed to. Just a bit of an update for you after a pit stop from Crankjog. Energetic up into 13th now. Rush the Siri up to 14th. And, well, it's certainly been a question of pit strategies now, as Andy Andre is now 1.9 seconds away. And it should be about lap 18 when he's on the back of the Racing Bulls. But wait a minute. He's only half a second away. As now, Sebastian has got past Savannah there. And has left the McLaren behind of Race Chase there. Now, I would say about 2 seconds there. So Sebastian doing an excellent job of keeping everything behind him. But look at that. Oh, he's caught up much sooner than I thought. I thought it was going to be lap 18 or 19. It's going to be lap 16 when he has the DRS down the start-finish straight. Herman will probably be a little frustrated, as Flip is our 3rd driver to get the 3-second track limit penalties. And, well, Quincy and Crankjog also share a 3 seconds post-race. And, well, some drivers go for the 2-stop, some drivers go for the 1-stop, and I do think the 1-stop was the way to go. But Control has a pace advantage as of right now as well. But the battle for the lead might be about to switch up as we go on to lap 17 at the line. I'll keep an eye on Control and Andrew in the background because Control might still be a race winner. Can Andy... Oh, wait a minute. Will Herman play DRS chicken here with Andy? Or will he just allow him to go through? And the camel straight. I think, yeah, that's what Herman is going to do. He's going to allow Herman... Herman is going to allow Andy through down the DRS straight at the camel. And now through Eau Rouge into Radian. Yeah, this is going to be rather academic. Andy has gotten all too good at this, and his former championship rival is going to be no match for him, and he has passed down the camel straight. But now we need to look at Control and Robastian. That is the battle for what will be 4th place if they can catch up to Ryan Brooks. But there we go, Control now round down the inside, down the camel straight, and into Lacombe. Easy as you like from Control. No real problem at all. And Robastian only just getting onto the back of Flip as we speak, but he did not have DRS on that lap. And Herman is starting to lose touch. And Andy RJ will have a massive point swing going his way if things stay as they are right now. As they go, and also Control looking like he's very close onto the back of Ryan Brooks himself. And Cranjog gets another 3-second penalty for track limit violation. So Andy RJ makes the one-stop work, but he went very late onto his medium tyres. And that was the way to go. I really don't understand Robastian's 2-stop, and that still makes no sense. But also remember, Andy needs a 3-second gap to the car behind, and he's in perfect position to do that. And I think he's going to do it if Herman stays in 2nd place. And Control can't make up the time, but Control needs to get this move done as soon as possible, because if he waits... we have a caution in Sector 2 for Crank Jorg, I believe. He's going to face the right way, so that's going to be a brief... yellow flag, but no intervention required from race control. But look at that, Ryan Brooks really not doing himself any favours through the bus stop. Get on contact between the two of them. Oh no! Control losing it on the throttle, and he goes into the side on purpose. Not on purpose, obviously. As Robastian now goes through into 8th, but now Ryan Brooks will be a little fired up from that. And I believe this one will be watching and thinking, what have you done to my boy? And now Ryan Brooks will be fired up to get that back. This will not help Ryan. This will not help Control, even beg your pardon. That's how Ryan Brooks, through a Rouge Serralion, is going to come back at the Alpine driver and a bit of contact in return. These two have really fallen out in Spa. And now it is Ryan Brooks back past the Alpine and will not be very happy with him. Can Control find a way back as race chase up on Svena for a 10th place here? But also Babish is caught up to the back of Herman, so maybe Herman... maybe the hard tyre on the one-stop as early as they did wasn't the smart decision after all. Those hard tyres have already fallen away and a bit quicker than I thought they would have done. I'm surprised at the tyre degradation on this game, that is for sure. I am very confused, but look at that. You've got to see that gap as Quincy gets another 3-second penalty for track limit violations. It doesn't really matter. He's not really affected. It is Crank Jorg that is affected, though. He's going to be down to 17th, although that's not a points-paying position. Quincy has the last points-paying position in this league. Oh, goodness me. Crank Jorg has had another moment. That is through Lecom. Got to get that point in the right direction. He does, and now he's got to be careful of Quan in the background here. He'll be approaching rather quickly. But no drama there. So now Ryan Brooks, Control are all going to try and make an overtake work because they need to get that 3-second gap. As all the McLaren there even having a moment through the bus stop like Control did. We saw earlier on as now the Ferrari and the Aston Martin go side by side. Now, as long as nobody crashes this lap, we will not have another safety car. Once you get to lap 20, the game just deems it too little time for a safety car to come out. So you will not get one. But here we go, Babish on Herman the German here, and it's going to be Control on Ryan yet again, and there you go, they get that done cleanly this time as Rush the Serum retires in the pit lane, so no need for any intervention, but that is Babish into 2nd place. Can he get that gap down? As Herman the German gets a 3-second track limits penalty, he will not be on the podium as things stand right now. And Robastian is still way too far back, but there's Control on Herman as well. Down to Rivage, has got that move done, and the damage hasn't affected him. Who got that 3-second penalty then? That was Crank again, as now Quan makes a move on, and I think we've got a yellow flag somewhere. It is Crank who's gone the wrong way into the bus stop, and we also have a caution. I think that's for Quan slowing down. Yeah, I think somebody's had a moment somewhere. But anyway, as Crankchalk, of course, retires, he can't go any further. But it was indeed Danger David who brought out the VSC, and it was to Brown who brought out the first safety car. So here we go now. Control on Bavish to try and win the race. 2 seconds when he gets to the line. 3 laps to do it. Let's see what Control can do. He'll have DRS down the start-finish straight. Ryan Brooks is now too far back to get involved with this podium fight. He's also overtaken Herman, so maybe Ryan could have a go at Bavish, but it will be not a lot of time left as Andy with a bit of a look up there, and now he has got the optimal point, Control, to try and get DRS. Surely he is the one in contention to take the win away from Andy, and Control can redeem himself for missing the win last week. Qualified pole, but remember, he did not finish there. He had to settle for 7th place, and now he is going to have DRS on Bavish. Let's go on board with the Alpine, as now he's gaining and gaining. The McLaren to the inside, the Alpine to the outside. It's going to be a battle through Le Combe, but the Alpine gets the corner before the McLaren, and now Andrew overtakes the Racing Bulls of Herman, but 2 overtakes made, and that go there. Can Robastian find a way past Welter? No, he wasn't close enough to do so, as now the Racing Bulls of Herman has just let them through. He is not involved in that fight and just lets them through. So, oh my goodness me! Oh, Andrew was spun and he's gone to the path of Herman, I think. And Herman has no front wing. Penalty for Andrew for a severe collision. And the Williams driver has lost his composure again. 3-second penalty for Ryan Brooks. And we saw that coming in the background, and we didn't catch the actual collision, but we saw it coming. It was like a car crash you couldn't look away from. And now Herman's evening goes from pretty decent to pretty awful. And Herman, well, will surely retire in the pit lane, but will be absolutely raging in that cockpit. And, well, he's going to be with us tomorrow, that's for sure. And Andrew will be feeling pretty bad, and he has lost points for Williams when they could have used it. Ruster Siri has already left the session. That's no bother, but look at this. Control with 2 laps to go, beg your pardon, 3.8 seconds, and Andy is losing that 3-second advantage he had. And well, as though, can Andrew actually continue on despite that damage? Yes, he can. He's going to keep going, but Andrew has now got a 10-second penalty post-race, so he'll lose positions. I would assume at the moment he's going to lose out to Rowley if he doesn't get a hurry up on it. There, that rear end has gone. He has got aerodynamic damage, but here we go. Robastian on Mr. Wouter for 5th position. Mr. Wouter with nothing in the tank there, and that is going to be a very nice 5th for the Romanian, but the 3 Romanians with 3 different fates. And at the moment, Control has lost out by half a second on that lap alone. Herman's still in the pits to obviously repair his front wing damage. I thought Herman would react just in time there to avoid Andrew, but of course Andrew was not. It mustn't have been predictable. We'll have to see if we can catch a replay of that. But either way, nightmare for the Racing Bulls here, and Bavish on the podium as it stands. But remember, if Robastian can get a move done on Ryan Brooks sooner rather than later, well, then he could go chasing for those 3 seconds. As he's not far away at all, but it will be a mad dash to the line. And it's going to be very close indeed, as now, I think... Oh, the Alpine of Kovachka going very wide there through Le Combe. And it is just... it's just not really come together for Kovachka this race. We usually see him making strides from quali to the race, but this week it just hasn't happened. Well, look at this. Robastian now nearly a second to the Racing Bulls. Bavish really needs to get a hurry up if he doesn't want to lose that 3rd place to the Williams, but now Control on the final lap needs to find a second here, or else that win is gonna be gone yet again. Now, luckily for Control, didn't qualify on pole, but he still would like to redeem himself after last week. And well, would you look at this, Robastian still not within DRS to Ryan Brooks in front. He is in fact still out of it, so I think Bavish might just be safe, but it is far too close to call, as Control is just trying to keep himself within that 3-second window so that he can benefit from that from Andy's post-race penalty, and now that is race chase up into 7th on Flip. Didn't really matter as Flip had a 6-second penalty coming his way post-race due to track limit violations. But you know what? I don't know if Control knows he's got Andy as a 3-second post-race penalty, because that gap isn't coming down very quickly. Or does it? I don't know. I don't know if he knows it, you know. Let's find out. 3.6 seconds going through Stabilo. I don't think he's got enough in the tank. I don't think he's got enough. It's going to be half a second between the straight of Blanchimont and the bus stop. And I don't think it's going to be enough, everybody. I think Andy has got himself a win despite a 3-second post-race penalty, which came his way after last week. Andy again will be your winner, and the championship will take another turn. Andy wins in Spa, but does Control have those 2/10 at the bus stop? No, he doesn't. But can Robastian find the podium? He will be ahead of Ryan Brooks. No, Robastian's not on the podium. Andy has a massive swing. Mr. Mountain will take 5th place for race chase. What a race for him. 6 places up, and he finishes in 7th. But Svena will get a position from Flip's penalties. He's 8th. And then Andrew, what a disappointing race for the Williams driver. He will actually lose 10th as well to Rowley, who is only 9 seconds away from the Williams driver. There you go. Gone. Gone, gone, gone. And there you go. That's Energetic to the line with the fastest up of the race. Quincy in 14th, but then Herman takes fastest up of the race. 1:43.9. Is Quincy going slowly? He is. I wonder if he's out of fuel, because there's Kavachka going right through. And Quincy has 6 seconds in penalties. I don't think he actually fueled enough. And Kavachka gets 14th, but then Quan will also get 16th, so Quincy will lose his points. And there you go. Quincy, nil points in Spa. But either way, Andy takes a win despite his 3-second post-race penalty, which I don't think Control realised he had. I think he would have been pushing a lot harder if he'd have realised it. And well, that is going to be very unfortunate for the Hungarian. Once I tell him that, I will have to give him the news. Someone will. But here we go. The podium celebrations begin. Robastian misses out by a few tenths. Bavish is back on the podium with Control, redeeming himself after last week's. It's not quite a win, but Andy Andre gets a step on Robastian. We'll have post-race interviews in a few moments' time with our top 3, which will be Andy Andre, Control, and Bavish, who is back on the podium. Your driver of the day in the game is going to Bavish, but then that will actually go to Andy Andre, who was the cleanest driver. And so your unofficial race results, your top 5, it's Andy Andre taking his 2nd win of the season, followed by Control and Bavish taking out your top 3. Then it's 4th and 5th going to Robastian and Mr. Router. From 6th to 10th is Ryan Brooks, Race Chase, Svena, Flip, Rowley, and then your 11th to 15th is Andrew, Energetic, Herman, Kavachka, and Quan. Then 16th to 20th is Quincy, Crank, Rush the Siri, Danger David, Tabran. Your bottom 3, not finished, bottom 4 even, not finishing the race. And well, now I think any moment now we are going to have post-race interviews with our drivers. But of course, what a crucial round for Andy Andre, halfway point of the season. And you just got to think that, you know, he's going to be feeling a little more confident now after having that disappointing week in Jeddah. He, of course, despite his 3 seconds post-race penalty, will take that away by only a couple of tenths, though. So Control, I think, wasn't fully trying. I don't think he actually knew he had those 3 seconds post-race, but of course we will find that out in just a few moments' time if we are going to have a word with him. But of course we will give it a couple of minutes. But congratulations to Andy Andre and on his win, and of course we will speak to him in just a few moments' time. And Quincy apologising to Kavachka there. So we didn't quite catch what happened there, but a lot of compliments in the Discord, unlike last week when everybody was certainly cursing each other out after that qualifying session in Jeddah. But very different atmosphere this time around, and a lot more respect going around to the drivers. And to be honest, that was a very good race as well. We're just going to see who is in here. We have just about everybody. So we've got 2 out of 3. We'll start with that. We definitely have our winner in here. So let's start with you, Andy Andre. Despite your post-race penalty of 3 seconds, you take the win. Congratulations on that. You pulled out the gap. You did what you needed to do this evening. How do you feel?
Incredibly happy. Honestly, I just remembered about the penalty in the final laps, and I tried to extend the gap to control. I don't know what how old his tires were, but he was catching pretty fast. I think they were a bit younger than mine, so I really did give it everything to keep him out of the 3 seconds. And yeah, happily I just managed to do that. So incredibly happy with how today went overall.
And of course, we had a just to kind of talk about like tire life and everything. We had a very early safety car, of course, to Bran going into the wall out of Radian, and brought out very early safety car. We didn't even reach turn 5 before Virtual Race Control called it. So why did you not actually go in for the first stop there? What was kind of the plan?
Uh, well, as the tires I had on were brand new, there was really no point going in except if I were to do a one stop and take the a set of hards to the end. But I don't think that would have been manageable. Didn't really try it, but with the previous experiences with this game, tire deck is really strong, and it's really easy to have even a puncture. So yeah, definitely not something worth trying.
And then, of course, we had the VSC as well. And then, of course, it was just kind of to go to the end. So was the one stop always the plan, or did you ever consider a two stop at any point?
Uh, Probably I don't think I did. The one stop was pretty much the plan all along, except for a really good timed safety car to make a second stop for faster tires at the end. But except for that, I think the one stop would have been faster, and I really had no plans to try anything else.
And then, of course, as you said, you didn't actually remember the 3 seconds post race until that very final lap. So, was it all kind of comfortable up until that point, or were you still kind of feeling the pressure from Control? Because Control was on a 2 stop, believe it or not, and he was really looking like he was going to catch you. So, what were your feelings in those final few laps?
Uh, I saw that I had a pretty good gap to the others, and I really didn't push any hard, didn't take any risks. Then I saw Control approaching really fast from behind. I didn't know what tire strategy he was on. I just noticed that he was quite a lot faster than me at the end. So yeah, it was my thought that he did a very late stop or a two stop, and just I was watching the gap and managing the gap. I remembered the 3 second penalty, and for the final laps, I really went flat out to try to keep him out of the 3 second window. And yeah, as I said, I caught on to that in time, and it all worked out fine in the end.
Well, Andy, yet again, congratulations. It was a great win from you. And of course, that now means as well you close on Robastian by quite just a little bit there. He didn't manage to get on the podium. So at least a bit of a championship swing your way. We'll ask you more about that if you're here next week, but certainly one to keep an eye on. Andy, enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yep, thank you very much. See you next week.
Now, we still don't have control in here, and I don't think we're going to as things stand right now. So we are just going to move straight on to our third place guy, Bavish. Welcome back to the podium. Congratulations on the third place. Was a little close there. Sebastian was getting a little close for comfort. How were those final few laps for you, and how was the strategy playing out?
Yeah, it's been a great race. To be fair, congrats to Andy. Great pace today, and I think it was possible to obviously keep touch with him, but obviously I got held back in third tier, so you had just had to be patient. But he was gone. But again, thank you for welcoming me back. I missed you, to be fair. I missed the podiums. Um, so I'm glad to be back. I was very surprised to have the podium today. I know it was not impossible, but in race circumstances, of course, if it's there, I would take it. But at the end, I lost concentration because obviously control was coming so fast, and obviously I really wanted that P2, but I had to be realistic. I was like, okay, I have to settle for P3. And then after turn one, I missed the DRS from him, so that was me. Literally, just lost concentration. I knew I had two track limits, so I knew I was managing one, not to get one, of course, until the end. But that little moment of loss of concentration, that what got me the 3 second gutted. But I was quite happy. I think Ryan managed to held back, or whoever was P4. I think it was a Bastion who was coming. So yeah, I was quite happy he got held back a little bit, So if not, he would have got me easy.
Yes, definitely. Ryan helped you out big time there. And of course, just kind of, I want to ask a similar question to your tire strategy here than what I did for Andy. Of course, we had a lap one safety car after only 4 turns. Why didn't you actually go into the pits first time around? Was it similar reasoning to Andy, just fresh tires and there was no point and you were just doing your own thing, or was there something that changed at that moment?
So the plan was a one stop, depending on what others do as well. So obviously, I didn't know what the field would obviously go for. A two stop is I would say probably faster, maybe, compared to you've got fresher tires all the time and everything, and the hards are quite nice. So if you can actually push them a lot. So I would say a two stop wouldn't be bad, but I was planning for the one stop because I've seen a lot of leagues, other people as well. They are trying the one stopper, even though they go high, but the traction is still there. You can still manage the tires very well. So that was the plan. I was quite happy when I saw the safety car on lap one. I was like, okay, that's tire management. Like you've got 2 extra laps on those tires. So I was happy to be able to push those tires until I think lap 9, when I pitted. So yeah, if ever there was no safety car, of course, you would probably be looking around lap 8 or lap 7 to be able to try and pit for one stopper. So deg on medium can be really high. Yeah, it can be. You can. It's not nice to be driving with those high deg mediums. To be fair, but the hards, lovely tires, lovely tires. But yeah, it was the one stop today.
And now, of course, it has. I feel like it's been a little while since we last saw you here, and of course, it's like, but to return the compliment, it's been a while. We've missed you too. We're around here. We thought we'd see you a bit more often, but it's taken a little longer than we anticipated. But of course, now we've
I
passed the
know.
halfway point of the season. We've got about 5 races to go now. Just to kind of bring up the calendar on stream for next week, we're going to be off to Hungary. And then, of course, we're going to be off to Spain, Mystery Grand Prix, and then followed by a little break from Mystery GP to Italy. So how are you feeling about the final 5 rounds? Any particular tracks that I've just mentioned stand out there? Of course, we don't know where the Mystery GP is, so we'll have to wait on that. But anything there that is one of your playing to your strengths?
Definitely not Hungary, I should say, because it's a very tricky track. You've got to be very patient. I don't know the tag. I've not raced on the track. Even today, I didn't have much time. To be fair, there was somebody texting me and say let's practice, but I was so busy, with work and everything nowadays. So I literally just jumped onto my wheels and just try and put some quality laps. So I was particularly not happy with my quality, to be fair, because I knew there was much more time in it, a 42 flat maybe. So yeah, I was not really happy because there's so much places. I think I was P11, could have got P5 maybe or P6, so that would have been better. Um, but no, I've not seen the calendar, so we will have to go as it is. To be fair, so it's going to be a surprise for myself as well, and see how the pace goes.
All right, then. Well, Bavish, thank you so much for taking my questions this evening. Congratulations again on another podium. And we hope to see you a little more often,
Thank you, mate.
hopefully, as the season comes to its conclusion.
Hopefully, see you soon too, mate.
See you soon. And with that, that ends the post-race interviews. And that ends the evening for Division 1. But SSRL is not done just yet. We will be back tomorrow for Division 2 around the same place at the same time, just on a different day. Of course, you can catch the action here from 7:30 p.m. We'll, of course, have the same qualifying session. And we will have a certain Herman the German. I'm sure he will have a lot to talk about after his little collision with Andrew on the final few laps there. So, of course, just to run through your calendar one last time, we'll be off to Hungary next week for round 6, then off to Spain for round 7. Mystery GP will be on the 18th. Then a little break as Quincy is off to the United States. He'll be back by the September the 8th, where we'll be off to Monza. And then September 15th will be our finale. And our only full qualifying session, it will be Zandvoort in the Netherlands. But until then, until next week, or maybe tomorrow, well, I just want to all say thank you so much for watching, and from wherever you may be in the world, from all of us here at SSRL, also the admins, the stewards, and the drivers, we thank you for watching, and we all wish you a very good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. Stay safe, stay alive. See you tomorrow. If not, see you next week. Bye for now.